Hello everybody. I'm making this video. I'm actually on my way to a church service right now. But I'm making this video because Duden, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it sounds German, left a comment under my video. He had some pretty interesting things to say, and while I'm waiting for my Uber, I'm confident I can debunk them before it arrives. So what do you say, Duden? You in for a race against the clock? The first thing you say is that you don't believe Jesus Christ was racist in the modern sense, but more that he was xenophobic, because everyone back then was to some extent. That's simply a broad brush fallacy. Even if I grant you, everybody back then was xenophobic to some extent, that means nothing. Jesus Christ, in case you haven't noticed, wasn't just anyone. The fact that everyone around him may be xenophobic means nothing for his character. But you know what does say something for his character? His words, and even better, his actions. More on that later. Next, you say that Jesus brought up the Gentile framework when talking about other people that weren't Jews. This really doesn't mean anything as far as your claim that he is normalizing it. He's simply referring to them as a different group. Like if I call you, well, let's say my assumption is right. Your username sounds German. You're German. You're an atheist. It's just a different label. In no way does that mean he is normalizing anything. But even if we say that he went ahead and he used the Gentile framework, and you're right in saying that if he wasn't like that, he never would have brought it up anyways, let's think of this. I got a question to ask you. Is Seth MacFarlane racist? What about Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the people who make South Park, Family Guy? No, many people, they've said a lot of racist things on that show. Was that their intent? Are they dirty racists? Or, xenophobes? No, absolutely not. I don't want to insult you by calling you simple-minded, but you shouldn't take everything at face value. Just because someone may say something that sounds like it could be xenophobic on the surface, that doesn't always mean it's the case. Like with Family Guy and South Park, you gotta look deeper. What they're doing and what Jesus was doing is parodying what was being said. Parodying is where you take a certain construct and you expose its flaws by simply showing how it fails. That's one way parodying works. So no, absolutely not. The fact that Jesus used that framework does not show that he is xenophobic in any way. Towards the end of the comment, you double down that since Jesus is supposedly the deity that made the distinction between the Jews and the Gentiles, that he must have been the one that, if the Bible's true, my deity created racism. No, I've already told you that's not how that works. Especially when you look at the history of the Jews and you see why God chose to do that. Because after all, if we all came from Adam and Eve, there is no xenophobia. We all belong to the same group. I don't want to insult you by calling you simple-minded, so I'll simply say this. Two things I'd like to leave you with. Actions speak louder than words. Any claim that Jesus Christ was racist or xenophobic is laughable in comparison to the evidence that he is not. Especially some of the evidence you brought here today. Second is that you shouldn't take everything at face value. Just because someone said something that on the surface may seem xenophobic and racist doesn't mean that that's what they're trying to say. Or else you've just called Matt Stone, Trey Parker, and Seth MacFarlane racist and xenophobic. Either way, I think I see my Uber. Looks like I won the race against the clock. Have a good day, and stay tuned for Sunday's video. You might learn something.